for me, because I have been in writing groups now for about a decade, two very intensive ones, and I thought that I do have great readers in those groups, but the thing that I think I was really missing was not necessarily just another supportive circle, which Tracy's class 100% is, but I was really hungry for that craft discussion. So for her to come in and know with the nuts and bolts very quickly on a short piece of text I might have shared, she'll instantly say, okay, so what you're struggling with here is the point of view, or how maybe this little scene is trying to connect with a timeline, and she'll spot these things that just never came up in my more casual writing group discussion. So I found that incredibly helpful. I've been struggling with writing and rewriting a memoir for over a decade now, and a lot of it kind of really stumbling around in the woods on my own. So to have Tracy come in and give me all of this encouragement, and she's very so respectful of any vulnerabilities that you might be sharing. I love how she starts each session with just a very short little mindfulness, like that's really where the embodied word comes in a lot, is just getting into your body as you start each session with lots of new information coming at you, but you're so present. And then she'll do that again. We take a little break, and she brings us all back into the room really gently. So I found that combination of her not only having this, what feels like a meditative practice that she brings in to get us to be really embodied, but she also has just this razor sharp clarity on craft. And again, presents it and shares it without it ever feeling like, oh, this is the thing you're doing wrong. But she'll suggest another way that you could add to your own toolbox. Having been a teacher myself, really getting to absorb Tracy's incredible generosity as a teacher nearly made me want to go back and reteach every class I've ever taught. She gives so much energy and careful attention and kindness to every single student. And she's such a careful listener. And yet she does all of this sort of seamless keeping track of things that now, as a teacher, I know she has to make sure that we fit into a time slot, and that, everybody gets about an equal share of time. So she manages to do that seemingly effortlessly. So the classes just are so smooth, and yet you feel so individually held by her teaching. So just as a teacher myself, in a university setting, I'm really just so inspired by how she manages to make it look so easy. So yeah, I think the recommendation would be that if you want somebody who's maybe not coming from the kind of the dogma that you might get in an academic setting, which I'm awfully familiar with. I'm actually about to commence a PhD in creative writing, so there's that quite heavy hitting academic framework. And Tracy is certainly utterly familiar with that and with that language. And yet she presents her material in a way that's purely about the creative process. It's still about finding a creative from the work and that objective eye that you might get from a more academic clinical way of looking at the work. But it's through this really kind, creative lens that she uses, because she's a writer herself. So she's a creative person. So the guide that you have is someone who's working hard on her own writing when she's not teaching us as well. So I think that's a very unusual thing, where you're getting teaching from somebody who has a really high level of craft, and yet it's in this very gentle atmosphere. Yeah, community. I'm the greatest fan.